Alrighty, guys, welcome to September's leader meeting. I am so excited to see all of you here. We have grown tremendously this month. So this is a meeting just for leads and above in Simply Grace and Grit group, which now includes Wildflower Warriors group. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. But first, I want to do some recognition from August. So August top 10 PRV. Number 1 spot, Brittany Sussex. Go Brittany. 2, Mindy Hilton. 3, Sarah Evans. 4, Kaylee Dean. 5, Whitney Hebel. 6, Tiffany Forbes. 7, Jess Torres. 8, Heather Dunbar. 9, Emily Smith. And 10, Tara Dickerson. So congratulations to those top 10 and PRV out of 742 consultants in August. August was, I don't want to call it a weird month, but it was a weird month. It's just one of those like in between summer months that you just never know what you're really going to get. Top 10 TWV paid it title. So we do things a little bit differently here in Simply Grace and Grit. We recognize the top 10 TWV of the leaders who were paid at title. And there's a reason for that. Why? Because one, those leaders are the ones that are actually, how do I say this? Getting their full potential out of their title. How about that? Okay, so they are reaching those standards. They are paid at title. They're helping their team reach their goals. So TWV, Whitney Hebel, Anya Faust, Katrina Anderson, Paige Rooswald, Sylvia Slutsky, Mindy Hilton, Alex Wellman, Lindsay Lynn, Leslie Banner, and Tiffany Duran. So that was the top 10 TWV for August. So congratulations to all of you. There were no director and above promotions last month in August. Okay, so there's no one to shout out for that. But top sponsoring, these people all sponsored 2 people: Mindy Hilton, Kimberly Norris, Robin Gish, Brittany Sussex, Michaela Baker, Taylor Beaver, Tara Dickerson, Paulina Quay, Sylvia Slutsky, Sarah Evans. So congratulations to all of them. That's amazing to be able to consistently sponsor. So congratulations to y'all. Most active frontline. If you're a new leader, you're going to hear us talk about active frontline a lot. Okay. Why? Because that's going to build your strong foundation for your business. So I had 31 last month. Anya Faust had 14. Katrina Anderson had 10. Paige Rooswald had 9. And Mindy Hilton had 8. So those are our top 5 for most active frontline, which is amazing. Our group sales in August, I want y'all to listen to this. Can you mute people as you see them? In August was $205,000. Go back, $645. Can't be moving screens like that on me. $205,645, which is amazing. That's amazing. Our current group sales for September today, with 3 days left, is $306,914. So we have already beat that over $100,000 from last month with 3 days to go. That is insane. So y'all have already seen that we are, as a group, having our highest record month in sales. We have also already added 48 people to our group this month, which is amazing. So that's coming in consistent. And I feel like as a group, we are hitting those 3 legs all consistently this month. So that kind of brings us to, real quick before I do announcements, for our team. So as leaders, we can see these things that are, as a group or as a team, we're doing really well. We need to make sure that the people who aren't doing those things, we know why they aren't doing those things, right? Because sometimes it's just indescribable. It's nothing that we can do to help it. But if everyone in the group is having an amazing month and someone's really struggling and they're trying, we need to reach out to them a little bit more, or bless and release, to be completely honest. Okay. That's where we can see the division of the people who are working their business consistently and not, because there are so many LTOs this month. Our catalog is amazing. We have collection galore that literally covers so many different kinds of people that even growing your customer base is something that everyone should be focusing on this month with all these LTOs we have. A few announcements before we get to our training, which y'all don't even know what the topic is yet. Fun fact. Announcements, SFR 2022. You're going to hear me say this over and over and over and over and over and over again. Utah, Salt Lake City, Utah. Now, with where the world is now, I want y'all to plan to be there, but I want you to plan with no strings attached. So what's that mean? That means if you're, whatever you're planning, make sure that there's a cancellation policy that you don't get in trouble with, pretty much. We can't plan the future, but we do know what kind of world we live in right now. And a lot of places will work with you, but just know that even if we don't have something in Salt Lake City, we are doing something together somewhere on a smaller scale. Yeah, that's all I'll say about that. The other thing is Choose to Cruise. We are doing a program, me and Anya, we started August, a program that focuses on just the important things for our business. And we did a full 4-week back-to-back training. We've done our September monthly training that wasn't recorded, and we're doing once a month from here on out. If you are a new leader and you're not in that, that's okay. Everything is on YouTube. Go start at number 1 and go through it. Share it with your team. It has tons of information in there that you should be focusing on to help not only earn the cruise, but to grow your business, okay? And me and Anya know what we're talking about. I promise you, we are both like within 1,000 of level 2. So please trust us in the information that we give you with this, okay? So if you're not in that group, that's okay. Please follow it on YouTube. Because if you are ever like, I don't know what to do in my business, go to someone's YouTube channel and start watching. Tons of information. The only other thing I wanted to mention was the holiday collection. It comes out on Friday the 1st. Early release time again, super exciting, but I want y'all to make sure, especially as leaders, that you are reading the workstation. You are reading your news tab so you can see what's becoming available on the 1st and what's not. I see a lot of mistakes being made with what is becoming available, and that's okay. Just make sure that you're consistently reading the news tab so you know what's most up to date. I've made mistakes. Anya's made mistakes, especially with everything changing so last minute. It's okay. Just prepare yourself, your team, and your customers with the most up-to-date information that you can. So with all of that being said, tonight we're going to talk about 2 things. The first thing is TWV versus GWV, or team versus group. There's a lot of changes going on in our group, within our teams, within our groups, and everything in between. And the other thing we're going to talk about is something that I have heard more than I'd like to hear in the past couple months, is that I don't feel like a leader, or people feeling like they're not a leader. Okay. So we're going to talk about that too. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I want to make sure that we welcome any new leaders that are new. We have added, I think, like 17 people just to our leaders group this month. So that's pretty insane. If you're new, please, if you're feeling brave enough, drop it in the chat so we can welcome you one-on-one. As our group grows, it's harder to keep up with who's who and who belongs to who and who came from where and all that. So make yourself be known. Make us learn your name. Make yourself a presence. So welcome, and I hope that this training is all helpful to everyone. So I'm going to just go ahead and pass it on over to Anya. Bring you back.
Hey, you guys. So excited to be here with you guys always. Of course, love being here with you guys. All right, so we're going to talk about what we do in Legacy Leaders. Like, what are we doing in Legacy Leaders, okay? We show up. That's going to be number 1. You're all here. You're all here for a reason, okay? You showed up tonight. That's super important. You've got to keep showing up. It's going to bless you. It's going to bless your team tenfold, I promise, okay? Another thing that we do is we take initiative. Nobody needs to sit here and handhold you and tell you, hey, we've got a meeting. Make sure you're there, right? hey, that was really awesome what you shared on the team page. Can you share that with the leaders? We should not have to be asking you. Nobody should have to ask you. You should say, I bet this is going to be valuable to someone else. We have got literally all types of people, all types of titles, experience, everything on this team. Someone can use what you have to say. I promise you. Like, stop acting like you don't have anything to say. Yes, you do. Okay? You do. I promise. All right. Another thing is that we are sharing, right? Not just from something that you decide to post on your director's page, but you're looking for things as a leader to help you, right? Become a better leader, and you're sharing those things. You do not keep those to yourself. We are always better together. I tell my team all the time, we're better together. I can learn something from an essential consultant. Okay. We all can. So that means we're literally better together. Okay. We're going to encourage one another. That's huge. You should not be scrolling past when you see a welcome to a new leader and just like act like you didn't see it. Hello, we welcomed you. You need to be welcoming everybody else. Okay. We're going to do that. And we're going to encourage people. There are so many people promoted and done amazing things this month. Watching you guys shout them out and be like, I'm so excited for you. Literally, my heart is so full watching all of those things. That is what our group is all about. We are not like every other group, and we won't be like every other group, period. Whitney's not going to let it happen. I'm not going to let it happen. Okay. That's got to be huge. We've got to make sure that we are loving our people. This is your big family, and we'll talk about that in a little bit, but this is your big family. Love your family. Okay. And lastly, we're not making excuses. Listen, I love you all to death. I know Whitney does too. Whitney does not do excuses. It has been handed down generation to generation. We are not doing excuses. If you can't make it, you can't make it. Please don't tell me why. Okay? Don't tell Whitney why. Unless you like really need prayer for something, got it. Cool. I'd be praying for you all night long. But like, I don't need to know that you have your nephew's football game. Turn your camera off, put in an AirPod, and pretend like you're here. Like, take notes really quickly on your phone. It's not hard, right? They're lined out for you. Be here. Show up. Show up. Show up. Okay? It is just show up. Lord, just show up. Don't tell us why you can't. Just do it. Okay? Okay. We love you no matter what. We know life happens. Do your best. All right? So that is the baseline of what we do at Legacy Leaders. And the biggest thing is you love your team. That is going to be the biggest thing. And you treat them with love and respect. Okay? You are not their boss. You are their leader, which means you need to be leading by example. Okay? So that's going to be huge. How you speak to them, how you treat them. Literally, you get paid bonuses from Cincy to love your team. So love them and love them well. Don't treat them like crap. Okay? Okay. That's what we do. There we go. Oh, I guess I'm next. Okay. I keep going. We are talking about TWV versus GWV. So your TWV is going to be your team wholesale volume. Okay. Your GWV is your group wholesale volume. All right. They look the same. They're going to look the same for a very, very long time until you get a frontline director. All right. Then they change. And this is where I know a lot of people are getting confused. They're like, wait, I don't understand. As you look at your compensation plan, of course, I don't have the big one with me, but as you look at your compensation plan, when you get to director, the numbers for your GWV and TWV are different for what you need to hit those goals. Okay. And that's because a director can have a frontline director. All right. So that's super important for you guys to know, just as you're going along, that yeah, they look the same now, but as soon as you get a frontline director, they're going to look differently, and you need to make sure that you're hitting both numbers. So what is it for director? Your TWV is going to be 2,000 and your GWV is going to be 10,000. Okay. I'm going to kind of show you how this looks on a piece of paper. Bear with me. My homeschool mom skills are going to come out right now. All right. Here's Whitney. See Whitney's big blue circle and my dinner? Just ignore that. This is Whitney, okay? And these little lines right here are about to be Whitney's front line, okay? So hang in there. Let me make sure I have different colors. Okay, so we've got Katrina, and we'll go in depth for Katrina in a minute. And then we have, who's on here? Sarah, okay? And we've got Anya over here, and we've got Megan, okay? All right, so we are all Whitney's front line. Okay. All right. So Megan has her own team. Okay. Lord. Okay. So here's Megan's team. There's Megan's team. All right. Her team is going to have their own front line. Okay. So all her team, and they have their teammates and their teammates. Some people don't do nothing. They just hanging out, doing whatever. So look at my chicken scratch. See her little drop-offs? Those are her teammates who have teams, okay? We're gonna leave Megan alone for a minute, okay? We do the same thing for Sarah. She's got, say, 4 teamies. I don't know, Sarah. I know you have more than that. Okay, so that's her team. Her frontline team, Sarah's frontline team right here. Okay, she's got her 4 people. If one of those people has a branch of like 3, that is Sarah's downline. She's still going to talk to those people, not just the one she personally sponsored. Okay, she's going to check in with everybody, okay, as she can, for who's working, who's not working. All right, put myself in a different color to show this. Then you have me. Okay, so I'm going to pick on Paige because she's right here and I can see her. Okay, sorry, Paige, but you're right there. I see you. So I got Paige, and I have, we're not gonna put Alex over there. Put Alex over here, okay, and then I have Kim, my mom, okay? Here are my people right here. But here's the thing. I have directors. Sarah doesn't have her directors yet, and neither does Megan. I have directors. So Paige has her own people, okay, on her team. Here's Paige's team right here. Now Paige's team has teams, okay? We're gonna go off and we're gonna branch on to these people that have even more. This is the visual I have to show you TWV versus GWV, okay? So look, now Paige's people have people. Paige is a director. So this is what happens with Paige. Her TWV is no longer in my TWV, okay? Because she's a director. So we're gonna highlight Paige, hopefully everybody can see. Paige is now her own family down here, okay? And because I am Paige's director and her sponsor, I have my own family. You see these circles? Okay, so this is me and my family. Inside of my family is still Paige's family. Okay, does that make sense? If I'm not making sense, drop in the comments. Okay, so she's inside of me. I'm sorry. She's still inside of my team. Okay. But she's got her own team and we are in Whitney's big team. So we're all a family together. Everybody, even the people they're all on Whitney's front line. We're all here together. But it's just like a big circle, then a little one, then a little one. Okay. So it's basically like for me, how I look at it is Paige was my kid. Paige moved out, had her own kids, and now I am grandma sitting back. But Paige is off doing her own thing in her own house. But I'm still there for family reunions like right now where we all come together. Okay? Does that break it down just a little bit? I hope that helps y'all. All right. So now for Katrina, just so everybody is aware, Lord, I hope I do this right. Okay, so Katrina's got her own front line. Okay, so we have Katrina's little stuff, but on this side, we have Nikki, okay? So here's Katrina. Katrina's got her front line here, and on this side, she's got Nikki, okay? Nikki is Katrina's star, well, not Katrina's star, she's a star director of Katrina's, but anyways, yes. So Nikki has her own directors down here who now have their own little circle families. She's got Carly. I don't know the other girl's name, sorry. She disappeared. I don't know her name. So anyway, she's got her 2 directors, okay? So now Nikki has her family. Hold on, let me show you. And then each of these girls have their own family. Okay, oh, let me do the big circle. And then you've got the big circle for Katrina. So, okay, Katrina's big circle. Then she has Nikki. Nikki's her front line, and she's a star director. Katrina's a director, but Nikki's still hanging out in her big circle, okay? But Nikki has her own directors who each have their own little families also. So it's really just like a big family, okay? But we branch off, but we're all together in the group. So when Whitney talks about group numbers, that is including all of the directors, okay? All of us, everybody, all right? When she's talking about TWV, that's going to be anybody that Whitney has that doesn't have a director that she's the director of. So if you look at your little thing when you scroll down your workstation, if it says Sylvia is your director, okay, then she's like your mama until you have a different mama, unless you're her front line, okay? That's how it is. You like branch off as children. That's the easiest way to explain that. So TWV versus GWV. There you go. That's what I got. Was that it? That was it.
Yes, no, that was good. I was like following along. Yes. I love it because a lot of people say, okay, so the next thing we're talking about is when and how does that change? So Anya hit on that where it's like it changes when someone promotes to director. Okay. The change from director to star director is going to change within that team, not your big team. So a lot of times people will get confused and want to know like where they belong. The biggest thing is to watch your workstation. As soon as something happens, it's going to update. Okay. It's going to say who your director is, who your star director, if it's applicable, and who your SSD is. Why is it important to know the difference? Because at one point here soon, if you haven't already, you're going to be asked. Your team is going to ask you, what's the difference between TWV and GWV? What does that mean? How can you explain that to me? And if you can't explain that as a leader, you have to do your research. You have to teach yourself. The biggest thing to know about that, and honestly, I tell people if they're coming in as an essential or certified consultant and they're asking me that, I love that they're asking me that, but I'm like, girl, don't worry about that right now. Like, I love that you're wanting to know that, and we'll talk about that like once you get certified, but no one needs to worry about that until they have a frontline director. Even when you become a director, you yourself don't change. Okay. Your upline, your numbers get removed from your upline, but you yourself don't change. Okay. So it's really important to know the difference and to understand. So if you don't understand it, you need to ask questions. And it's okay to say, hey, I don't understand what the difference between this and this is. Ask questions. You're not going to learn otherwise. And we don't know what you need help with unless you ask. So whose team are you on and whose group are you in? Again, all of that is in the workstation. Team is your director. Group is your SSD. Now, as we have learned here recently, Anya has promoted SSD. So some people, whoop, whoop, yes, amazing. You're going to have one SSD. You don't get 5 SSDs. You have one officially, but then you have an upline SD, and then that you have an upline from there, and you have an upline from there. And so it can get even more confusing, especially if you're included in a group like this where it's rapid growth, because between me, Chloe, and Anya, that's been a lot of quick promotions, right? So it's hard for people who started with Chloe and then moved to me and then to Anya. But just know that you will always be with me as my group, and you will always be with Chloe with her group, and you'll always be with her SSD and their group. Okay. So that's the other thing to understand, that when someone says group, it can mean a few different things. My group is going to be different than Anya's group. Anya's group is going to be different than Chloe's group. We're still all a part of Chloe's group. Even though she has now me and Anya in her downline, she also has many other SSDs in her downline, but we're all still a part of her group. Okay. So does that make sense to everyone? I think that's gotten confused with a few things, but just know that, you know, when, like Anya said, when I talk about group numbers, it's going to be different than when she talks about group numbers, or when Chloe talks about group numbers, or her upline talks about group numbers. We're still including that. We still sometimes make Chloe's SSDs top numbers, but we don't know that. So there's that. So whose team are you in? Like I said, just go to the workstation. It will be planned out right there for you. Okay. But the most important thing is to know who's on your team and who's in your group. Your team as a leader is your director's team. Okay. You are a part of that, is a real solidified team with a director. Okay. Now, when we refer to your team, when we're talking about things that we're doing with our team and what you should be doing with your team, we're talking about your downline. It's different when you're not a director, because some people are like, well, who does that include? But you're also a part of a bigger team, your director's team. Okay. So make sure that you understand that difference too. You have a team. So when you become director, so for instance, Sylvia, who just promoted, all of her people and her were on my team, right? Until a few days ago, she promoted director. Now they have their own team, and people feel some type of way about that, but that is how it works. You can't feel some type of way about it. You don't even come up in my team reports anymore. Okay. That is the real part of this. Okay. Once that director promotes, she's your girl. Okay. And we're not like leaving her out there in the cold, but she's your girl. I'm not your director anymore. And this is where we are trying to prepare all of you to one day hit director. So then when you hit that, you can ease into that transition easily when your team really does see you as their leader, because you've been leading from day one. Okay. So that's where all of this is coming together. All right. So anybody have any specific questions about TWV or GWV? You can put it in the comments. Please do not be scared. We can also answer once we're done recording, but I do want to make sure we cover all of that. The other thing we're going to talk about tonight is not feeling like a leader. I have a lot of people, especially new leaders, right? They come in and they're like, I just don't feel like a leader. I have directors who come to me and they say, I don't feel like a leader. I don't feel like a director. I was told that this month, just a few weeks ago. Okay. We have to find that from within. Okay. You are here for a reason. And I'll be the first one to tell you that it may have been on accident. Okay. But you're still here for a reason. Promotions can happen by accident. They can happen by mistake, but God puts you here for a reason. And you can either run with it, or you can just throw your pity party and say, I don't think I'm supposed to be here. You're not going to get a hand held here. Okay. You're just not. You're a leader. That's awesome. You're a bad. Okay. Let's do our mantra, right? Anya and her mantra that she does, mantra, whatever it is. But regardless of why you're here. Okay. So it's up to you what you're going to do with that. Are you going to take this opportunity to continue to build and to take the leadership that you have, to take the trainings, to take the ideas and do something with it? So I like to kind of compare it to being a mom. And I think maybe Anya was the one who talked about this, but when I became a mom, I was like, I don't know what the hello I'm doing, but I'm here and I just had a baby. And we're going to figure this out. And some of the things that I did as a new mom were kind of like my mom. So kind of like the leader. So we like to talk about our family tree. We just did a family tree. See it in that sense of your leader. Some things I didn't do like my mom, and some things I did do like my mom. But regardless, I figured motherhood out. My kids trust me as their mom. They know that I'm their mom. I'm consistently there. I've learned to do the things that I didn't necessarily come natural to me as a person with my personality or how I do things. But the most important thing is that I learned how to do it. And I always like to say, and this is going to be YouTube, but I really don't care. I remember saying, if Janelle from Team Mom can be a mom, I can be a mom, damn it. Okay. Because if she can do it, I can do it. Anybody can do it. And that's the same thing that you have to do with leadership. You have to say, I'm going to do this. I want to be a leader. I want to change my future. I want to change other people's future. I want to do big things with my life. And I have this opportunity to do it. And I'm going to do it regardless of what it takes. I'm going to have to change how I do things. I'm going to have to do uncomfortable things. I'm going to have to learn. I'm going to have to teach myself all of those things. I'm going to have to fail. I'm going to have to feel like a failure. I'm going to have to fall flat on my face in front of people. It's going to have to happen for you to become a leader. Okay. And we have things set up for you when you're first coming in. So if you're a brand new leader, the first thing, there's a pin on the top of our page for new leaders. It's called a new leader guide. It's a checklist of what you can go through and look. There is leadership set list and top 10 lead from the front tips. I still have them over here on the side that are in that checklist for you to read, for you to start implementing things in your business, to start seeing yourself as a leader. Because when you start acting like a leader, you're going to start feeling like a leader. Your team's going to start seeing you as a leader because they can count on you, just like that motherhood, right? When I have a baby and I'm like, oh, I don't know what I'm supposed to do with this thing. Eventually I figure it out and they know that they can come to me, right? They know that they can trust me. They know that I'm going to be there. All of those things are very similar to leadership, where those people know that regardless of what they're doing, you're the constant in their business, right? I always tell y'all, you ain't getting rid of me. You're not. I'm always going to be here. Whatever you're doing in your business is fine, but I'm always going to be here. Me and Anya, we're always going to be the constant in your business. Okay. People are going to come and go. Your teammates are going to come and go. Leaders are going to come and go. Anya came and went, and look where we are now. Okay. So let's just be sure No, but to see, like, some days we don't want to do this either, but here we are. Okay. So check out that new leader guide. And then once you're feeling a little bit more confident as a leader, start looking at the new director, the director guidelines. That's something that me and Anya also started, so we can start sharing that with our directors, but that's just not for when you hit director. I strongly encourage you, if you're a star consultant, you've been paid at title for like 3 or 6 months, go ahead and start looking at those guidelines and start doing some of those things now. So when you promote, it's going to be an easier transition. Okay. That is made public to you. That is not something we withhold. It is, again, in the leaders page. Just search director guide. And know that everything that we do as leaders, that's why we have this group. Okay. Because with our 100 and whatever leaders we have now, the directors, the SDs and the SSDs, we're only one person, right? But then we have these branches of teams and groups and families and all of that we have to reach. And that's why we have our groups, so that we can reach many people at once to share something. That is the intent of our groups. That is the intent of legacy leaders. That is the intent of dynamic directors. That is the intent of Simply Grace and Grit. It is a place that we can share mass information. Now, you have to, on the receiving side, receive it. You have to go and look at it. You have to go and use it. You have to go and implement it. We share things weekly in there. Tons of people do, and it's not being implemented. So we really have to use those groups to our advantage. And I will always say that Anchored in Leadership page was a turning moment for my business, because I had that support. I had that information. I was able to get anything that I needed training on at my fingertips. Okay. You're not by yourself. Whether you're a team or group, I don't care who your director is. If you're in my group, you have many resources that you can choose to use, whether your director is showing up or not. Okay. Sad subject. So start acting like a leader if you don't feel like it. We do need to take time to make a choice, right? So we always talk about choices in this business. You have to make the choice to be a leader. I can't make you be a leader. Anya can't make you be a leader. Katrina can't make you lead. We can't make you show up. We can't make you work your business. We can provide you with every single thing that you need to do that, but you have to make the choice to do that. Okay. And that's why legacy leader is a choice. Okay. That's why we ask you those questions before you come in, because I want to know that if you're in this group and you're actually actively sponsoring, that you want to build your team, that you want to help people, that you want to grow your paycheck. Those are our 3 questions. Because if you're not wanting to grow and leadership is not your gig, then take a non-leadership role and we can talk about that. It's okay. What's not okay is being a leader and not leading and not showing up. So pass it over to you. It's all you, Anya. You're on that last bullet point.
Of the learnable skills? I have what you highlighted. You want me to go with what you highlighted?
Yep.
Thank you. Okay.
You're welcome.
So we have to start acting like one, acting like a leader to help you feel like a leader, right? Doing what successful people do. So Whitney and I talked about this earlier. Yes, you all have your own leadership style, and that's wonderful and that's fantastic. That's what makes the world go round. However, yes, we're going to however this, okay? There are key things that people have done to get to director, to get to SSD, okay? So you've got to take those key things that are being done, and then inside of those, you can make them your own, okay? Because I'm really, really tired and I really don't want to hear this anymore. Just super honest. Like, please stop saying, well, I'm not you. I don't lead like you. Okay, boo, that's fine. And I get that. Trust me, I get it. Everybody is me, okay? Because this is a whole mess over here by itself, all right? However, there are certain things that I have watched Whitney do that I'm like, yes, if I want to get to that level, those need to be done. Things that I've watched Chloe do, if I want to get to that level, those things need to be done. I can't sit here and say, well, I know you have team meetings, you do trainings, but I can text every single one of my teammates, so it's fine. How long is that going to last you? That's not going to get you anywhere eventually, because your team's going to be so big. Would you like me to sit here and text 316 people? Because it's not going to happen. I've got things to do, okay? You have to be thinking like that. You're going to watch what successful people are doing. Then you're going to break it down inside of that. Okay. So like the big umbrella, yes, you do. Then you break it down inside what works for you. Okay. That is going to be huge. So it doesn't matter that you're not me. It doesn't matter you're not Whitney. It doesn't matter you're not Sylvia. We're all very, very different. We were at SFR together. Okay. We're very different people, but that's okay because you are the leader that you are supposed to be for a reason. Okay. Those things that we have the umbrella just helping you to get to the next level. It's to guide you basically, but you need to do them. Okay. Effective communication. You've got to make sure that you're really talking to your team and showing up. Again, you guys, if you are here, you should be taking the initiative of at least doing a training every once in a while. Let's just put every week. Do a training every week. Find some time. You can do it in the car. You can do it wherever. Okay. If you're here, you should be doing that on your director's page. You don't like your face being seen? Okay, record your voice. I don't know. Figure it out. You've got to get outside of your comfort zone. Okay. You should be practicing that now. Because as a director, you need to be training your team. You need to show up and engage with them. That communication is huge. They need to feel like they know you, okay? So that starts now as a leader right now. If you haven't been doing it, that's okay. Start it now. Start talking to them now. You're going to encourage your teammates. You're going to relate to your teammates with what's happening in their life. I've got someone in the hospital right now with COVID, and I can relate. I had COVID. I've had family members in the hospital. I can relate. I'm going to let her know that I care, okay? Those things go into your leadership. All right. Very important for us to relate to the people, create relationships. This whole business is about relationships. Okay. So not just your front line, but your downline too. That's super, super important. Okay. And I did not realize as a director how important that was. Okay. But it is, because say that you do have a front line who doesn't promote to director, but their front line promotes to director and you're a director. Guess whose frontline director that is now? Yours. Not your frontline, like, oh, well, okay. That's now your frontline director. You've got to create relationships, not just with your personally sponsored, but down the line also, okay? Check in with them, all right? Okay, you have the ability to empower. You guys, this is such a big thing, and I feel like it's not in our heads enough. You have the ability to empower people. Your story is unique, okay? Your leadership story is unique, whether you're here by accident or not, okay? All the crap you go through, all the good things, it all goes in to being your story, but it's going to be used, if you do it correctly, to empower other people in their business. Because I know for sure so many of my teammates are like, if Anya can do it, I can do it. And that's the truth, and that's how it should be, right? They know that I'm a little all over the place, but if I can do it, you can do it, okay? And they need to know, not with all the negative crap, right? But they need to know, if my leader can do it, so can I. So that's super important for us to remember. You have the ability to empower and encourage others. I'm telling you, if Whitney hadn't poured into me and talked to me and been like, hey, do you want this or not? Like, my life would be completely different right now. That's huge. That's powerful. Okay. Think about that, because that's you. That's you. You have the ability to do that. You have the ability to say, you know what, man, that girl couldn't pay her bills last week, but look, she just paid her phone bill with her Sensi card. You have the ability to do that as a leader. So step into that power, okay? You need to assist others in realizing their potential. Whitney saw potential in me before I ever even saw potential myself. That's you. You have that. When you're looking at numbers, when you're watching who's showing up, when you're watching who's going to meetings, all of that needs to be recognized by you as their leader, even if their leader didn't show up. Okay. If I've got someone on here and their director's not here, you better bet your bottom I'm going to shout them out and let them know, hey, I'm proud of you for showing up, because I am. Okay. Super just important for you guys to realize those things. They matter to other people. Okay. It really does. Some people don't have anybody else in their corner telling them they can do this, but you. That's so big. That's so big. It's even hard to like wrap my head around that. Then we have in here too, take you out of the equation. If you're like, I'm so uncomfortable, take yourself out of it. It's not about you. I've said it so many times. It's not about you. Your leadership is not going to be about you. It's about your team. It's about your group. It's about others. Leadership, if you're a mom, you get it. It's like being a mom. Man, how selfless do you have to be sometimes? Then you got to lock yourself in the bathroom with bar chocolate. That's a side note. But because during the day, all day long, you're like about everybody else. It's the same type of thing. That's why you have to take time for yourself. But it's bigger than you are. So you need to take yourself out of it. Yes, you're uncomfortable. Okay. Who died from being uncomfortable? Oh, I died from doing a live. No, you didn't. You're fine. You're fine. You can do it. Okay. Might get a little scratchy, might sweat. It's going to be okay. All right. Take yourself out of it and just do the things you need to do. Okay. Your team needs to make sure that they have something to work towards. You guys, if you're not shouting them out for something, if you're not sitting here being like, way to go for that promotion, or they're not seeing other people being shouted out for good things, they have nothing to work for. What are they? Why? Right? And not everybody can sit here and be like, I was talking to Paige about this earlier. I'm going to keep going. I don't need my leader to say anything to me. I'm going to push through and I'm going to do hard things. Not everybody is like that. Some people need that extra little, hey, I'm watching you. You're doing awesome things. It's as simple as that. It's not difficult. Okay. As a leader, you need to be a problem solver, thinking outside of the box. Okay. And remember that we are impacting people not just by what we're saying, but what are we doing? Lead by example, right? How are you doing that? If you're not leading, if you're not doing it, how can you lead by example? You can't. Okay. We've got to lead by example. And I want you all to sit here right now and think, if you're not a director, if I'm a director and I'm running my own team page, what do I want that to look like? Do you want to be the only one posting 24/7? Do you want your team to be including their ideas? Do you want nobody to shout anybody out and tell them good job? Do you want people to go live so you can get input from all kinds of people in all kinds of places in their business? Or do you want to be the one doing every single thing? That's draining. Okay. And there are so many ways to run a business, so many ways to thank a customer. I promise you, you want to be hearing from other people. If you're not doing that, you cannot expect other people to do it. Period. Like, you think it's just going to be magic? You have a team page and everybody's going to show up. That's not how that works. Okay. We have to lead by example. They don't. And then even if you're leading by example, it's like pulling teeth sometimes. Come on, y'all, you can do it. This is us. It's all together. It's not just me. Okay. Think about those things. So are you showing up as that person that you would want for your team page? You trust me, you do not want to be the director that is doing all the things by yourself. It's not fun. It's not. And I've watched directors be like, this is so frustrating. They just won't respond, because your leaders need to step up, period. Because once one person does it, it's going to be a trickle effect and everybody's going to start doing it. But you have to get to that point. One leader has to be brave enough. Guess what? You're the 1%. You're on this call. You're the brave enough leader. Okay. I can't wait to see all these trainings. I'm so excited. This is going to be so great. You guys get excited. Okay. All right. So you need to make sure that you are shouting out people, noticing, taking initiative. Again, initiative is going to be huge. Okay. And I want you to think too, because all of these things, you have to be intentional. They're all like, you can learn how to do anything, really. YouTube. We're really blessed. Let's just be honest. Okay. You can YouTube and podcast the mess out of what you suck at and get better. You really can. Okay. So you've got to choose to be intentional. Where you suck, go do some research. Go find somebody that you know is good at what you're lack at. That's why we're here together. Post it on the leaders page. I'm really not great with this. Can someone help me out? I guarantee there's somebody who's an expert in that field that will be more than willing to walk you through the steps. Okay. But you've got to be intentional and take initiative with things, because not everything comes naturally for everybody. Duh. We're human. It's not going to. We have to learn and choose to grow and evolve. Okay. And the last thing I have for you guys is I want you to think about this when you're thinking of starting to act like a leader. Oh, I don't feel like a leader. Okay. Well, what happens when you want to be healthier? You just sit there and think tomorrow you're going to wake up healthier? No. What do? We're going to look at our food choices. We're going to drink more water. We're going to get better sleep. We're going to put in some work and do some darn exercise. We're not just going to sit here and be like, tomorrow I'm going to wake up 10 pounds lighter and super healthy. It's going to be great. And think you're just going to go outside and run a marathon. Like, that's not how that works, y'all. You got to put in work to get better at it, right? But what are you doing when you want to be healthier? You start acting healthier. That's where it starts. You change your eating habits, right? You're sleeping more, you're getting more water, you're doing other things, you do the work. And then eventually you're like, yeah, look at me, I'm this fit beast. I rock, 10 pounds down. But it didn't start that way. And it's the same thing with leadership. It's the same thing with anything. It doesn't start that way. Put in the work and it will come. You all of a sudden will turn around and be like, dang, I'm a badass leader. How did that happen? I don't even know. But it's because you started the practice. You honed in on what you were good at, shifted everything else, and now look at you. Okay, so that's what we have. All these are learnable skills. You can do it. I believe in you all. And that's what I got for y'all today.
Yes, ma'am. I have one more thing that we talked about today, actually, was the phrase fake it till you make it. So that is something that my teacher, my course teacher in college, actually said all the time. And she said it because even if you didn't feel like you were the person that someone saw in you, act like that person. If you don't feel like a leader, do what you think a good leader does. If you have a good leader, mirror that. It's super simple. If you don't have a good leader, you have something up in your upline. You have someone that you can idolize in Cincy, in this business, that is doing big things that you can not necessarily work with, but you can do the things that they're doing to show up for their team. Okay. So just fake it till you make it. Act like it until you feel it, because the last thing I'll say about this is everyone feels this at some time. I felt it when I became a leader. I felt it when I became a director. I felt it when I started my team page. I felt it when I was a SD. I still feel it today. I'm just a normal person that happened to work her ass off. And that's what it came to be completely honest. Okay. There's nothing special. That's what we always say about the people in the tip top of this company. There's nothing special about them except, there's a lot of special things about them, but they're not born with something special to get there. They just don't give up. Okay. So I hope that was helpful to y'all. We're going to do one last thing. We're going to do our 15-second call out again. So if you're not familiar with that, we are going to call on you since you're here, and we want you to give just a 15-second tip to everyone, whether it be a new leader, old leader, or whatever. But if you had 15 seconds to give a leader advice, that's what we're going to have you do, because we're all leaders here. We all have something to give and something to contribute. So, Anya, you want to go first?
Yes.
I gotta look at who's here.
Also, real quick, sorry, I forgot to say this thing. Whitney texted me to remind me. So just so everybody knows, all the Wildflower Warrior group is staying with, we're like all legacy leaders together. We're not going anywhere. We're all here. We're hanging out. We're not like branching off to our own thing. We're here because this is our home and this is where we all belong. So we're staying together. Okay. So I am first going to call on Paige because your face is right there.
Okay. I just have worked together because it takes time for you to realize that it doesn't have to weigh all on your shoulders. When you talk with your team, coach them into getting active, coaching them to get to the next level of PRV, it pours into your TWV or your GWV. And I have it written down. There's something like so. When you support your teammates and you're coaching them to do all these things, and they turn around and they say, "Hey, what can we do to get to your next level? How can we support you? How can we help you grow?" So work together and just know that you don't have to accomplish this on your own.
Amen. You can't do it by yourself for sure. Sarah Evans, are you available?
I am here. So my little tip is just to keep showing up and develop those personal relationships, because as a leader, it's super important that you're doing a combination of the two of those.
Yes, for sure.
Where's Brittany at? Where'd she go? I just saw her. Where'd she go?
Brittany Bryant.
Yes. Brittany Bryant. Where you at, girl? I thought I just saw her. Well, maybe not. On our All right, who else we got? We got Shannon. I knew Brittany was here. Shannon.
I'm here.
Hey.
Sorry, I'm losing my voice, y'all. I just want to say positivity is a big thing. You got to stay positive in your business. Thanks. I got major allergy problems. Just stay positive. You got to stay positive, because if you're not positive, then your team's not going to be positive. And then you don't want negative Nancy's on your team, because then that's not okay. You got to stay positive and keep that smile on your face. That's all I got to say.
Yes, that's huge. And that kind of ties in actually to self-care with, like, don't give your team what's left of you. You need to be giving them the best of you. You need to be giving everybody the best of you. So that's where that self-care comes in, that you can show up and want to be there. Because if you show up to a meeting like this, I can guarantee you that people are going to look at you and be like, she's not this, she doesn't want to be here. Okay. And so if you can't show up for your team like that, same thing for your family. You don't want to give your family what's left over. That's why you got to take care of yourself. Jen Palmer.
Hi. Hold on just a second. Sorry, I'm cooking dinner. A big thing for me, and I probably will be speaking to those of us who are stars and leads, is be a sponge, absorb everything. There's so much out there. All of our directors, everybody above you has something to learn, and even people below you have something that you can learn from. Everybody. It doesn't matter what your rank is. I can learn from a certified consultant just as well as I can a superstar director. So be a sponge and be consistent. Like, that has been a huge turning point for me, is the consistency and doing it scared. And just showing up. It's the same things. I feel like I'm preaching the same things because I'm being taught these things. So taking those things that you're being taught and implementing, I'm not just saying, oh, that's a good idea. You got to implement the things we're being taught.
100%. Yes.
So good. So good.
I don't even know
Where's
what
Mark? Like, where's Mark? That's 2.
I'm here.
All right, what you got for us?
Mine is one is hi. It's been a long time since I've been able to clock in. Life has been crazy, and Anja knows all about it. My biggest thing is with your teams, you can't, with everything that has been going on with me personally, you can't let your team get sucked into your own personal drama. So that's why you got to kind of put on that smile, even though they know what's going on with you. You still got to put on that smile and be there for them. And then they, like, I think it was Paige or something, they're going to come back and be there for you as well. Like, it is a family, 100%. And like Anja knows this. Without Anja, I was in a really rough place a couple of weeks ago. And thanks to her, I have now found some positivity. And now I have a new director. Yay. So things are looking up, and I'm just working on training and getting things back to where they were, because I definitely fell off the wagon, and I'm back, and I'm glad to be back. Yay.
Yay. Love that.
All right, Mindy, where you at? You know you ain't gonna get away.
I knew it. I was like, it's coming. You guys don't stop. Don't quit. Don't give up. If you need to take a break, take a break. A break is fine. If you stop, if you quit, you have to do it all over again. Look at how much hard work you've already put in to what you've built, to what you're continuing to build, to what you're growing. Don't stop. Don't quit. Did you really have a bad day? Or did you have a bad 5 minutes? I had a really bad 5 minutes yesterday, but it was just a bad 5 minutes. It didn't define my whole day. It didn't define my whole business. My world did not come crumbling down. I got Starbucks a few minutes after and everything was fine. You have a bad month. Oh, well, you had a bad month. It doesn't mean you suck at Scentsy. Keep going. Don't give up. Go after what you want. Be the shark and go get it.
I love that.
Let's do one more on you.
Where's
I
Lindsay?
love this.
Lindsay Lenz, and she's such a new director. Let's go. Where's she at? Lindsay, back here.
She says I'm doing typing.
Oh, she's doing typing. Okay, you type over there. Who else can I call on? Let's see. What about Christina M? Are your babies sleeping?
I love that people are jumping off. I see y'all jumping off.
I know.
As you know.
Stop leaving. I know Christina's got tiny itty bitties. Is she-
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Here, yeah. Logan's right next to me. He's actually quiet now. So I think hang on. Okay. My advice would be, don't be afraid to try something different. Like y'all have been saying this whole time, like there are tons and tons of great ideas. So if 1 month you're doing something that doesn't work, try something different. There's tons of ideas. If it doesn't work for you, don't do it again. Try something else, because there's never a lack of ideas in this group. So there's always something to keep you going and keep you like reaching further and further to get more customers or frontline or PRV or whatever it is. There's always something different to try.
Yeah, don't be afraid to switch it up, y'all. And last but not least, I'm going to call on Haley.
My tip would be, before you go and ask your questions, to train yourself and search for the questions, because I feel like I learn so much better when I have to go find my own answers before I go and ask. And then half the time when I do ask, I end up finding the answer a few minutes afterwards, because I've been looking so long and it's right there in front of my face. But that's my tip.
100%. That is huge. And that's probably bigger than most of you realize. And a whole nother subject I won't get into, but that is huge for sure. All righty, guys. Thank y'all so much for joining us. I'm gonna go ahead and stop the recording.